How's it going, folks? It's Super Mr. O'Neill here, and I did that video, the pull list video, and I filmed it, and I was editing it, but then I just kind of said, meh, as I usually tend to do. So instead, I figured I would do my top 3 favorite books that I'm reading in issues right now. I did a top 15 favorite books, favorite single issue books that I was reading in 2013 list on my Tumblr, which the link is down below. I occasionally post things on there, reviews and ramblings, and I've been thinking about more and more reviews. I haven't posted on it in a little while. School's been kind of crazy, and just life's been crazy. I mean, when is it never, right? So yeah. But before I go to my top 3, I'm gonna quickly go through some in no particular order, just some honorable mentions, I suppose. There's one up here too. Shit. Whoops. You can tell this clearly was not planned. There's another one, I guess. Yeah. So these are some honorable mentions that I'm just going to go through quickly. Thor God of Thunder. What can I say? Thor, it lost me with the accursed storyline. I kept buying the issues because I was pulling it. But I said, I'm just going to wait, ride it out. But I just didn't read the issues because I read one issue of it and the artwork was just garbage. I didn't care. But then this issue came out with artist Das Pastores. And it was fan-fucking-tastic. And then we got Asad Rebic back, and I'm just, oh yes, I'm so glad Thor is looking like the giant that it was when it started. So, yes, Thor. Ms. Marvel. Only putting this on the honorable mentions list because this is only a first issue. We don't know where this could go. It looks like it's going in all the right directions. I really like Kamala Khan. I think she's a good character and, you know, a good role model for teens. And, you know, and it's good to finally see a book that is portraying Islam respectively. It's nice to see Marvel write, you know, it's nice to see Marvel show off characters that are diverse as the readership. Because as we know, you know, in the last little while, we've been seeing more female readers rise, you know, readers of religions other than Christianity, readers of, you know, multiple sexual orientations and all that stuff. You know, just people of all colors of the rainbow, and it's a great thing. And as a humanist myself, I like seeing shit like this. So, A+, Marvel, A+. Black Science by Rick Remender and Matteo Scalera and Dean White. Oh, this is good shit. I'm loving it. This is the most recent issue, issue 4. It just gets better and better each issue, and honestly, by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if this, you know, comes in my top 5, and by the end of the year, I do want to make a, you know, top whatever list of the comics that I read this year. And, you know, kind of, you know, see where it all, you know, changed and all that stuff. But the artwork is top-notch. Scalera is just an incredible penciler, and Dean White's colors are just fucking gorgeous. And Remender is a damn good storyteller. Now, admittedly, I dropped Remender's Marvel stuff. It just, for whatever reason, it bored me, and I didn't really care for it anymore. But his creator-owned stuff is just fantastic. I'm currently reading through the giant tome that is the Fear Agent library edition, the first volume of it, and I have the second one pre-ordered off Amazon. So, and I'm just eating that up and loving it. So Remender is definitely a writer on my list now that I have to look at all the shit that he's, you know, all of his creator-owned stuff, because he's just damn good. So Black Science is another extremely strong image book, and this is going to be a theme throughout the video. Another very strong image book, Velvet, by Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting. This is on issue 4, most recent issue. It came out last Wednesday, and just good retro 70s spy stuff like Mission Impossible or anything like that. Oh man, and it's just 70s British spies. This amazing female protagonist she's over the hill. Like, she is like the best in her class, but she's over the hill, so she's got to work hard at it. You know, like, this is just a damn good issue with it's a damn good series with amazing art. Oh, it's just good stuff. Brubaker writes incredible crime fiction and spy fiction, and oh my god, just read it. It's so good. And finally on the honorable mentions list is the first issue of Warren Ellis, Declan Shalvey's, and Jordie Bellaire's Moon Knight. I wasn't going to pick this up in issues. I was going to get it in trade, because it's Warren fucking Ellis. I saw they had a ton of issues at my comic store, and I said, you know what, fuck it. Put it on the pile. Yeah, I'm in for the long haul now. The art design, first of all, Declan Shalvey is an incredible penciler, and I've seen his work around before. I've never read anything that he's drawn, admittedly, but I've seen his work around before, and I thought, oh, okay, this guy is brilliant. And Jordie Bellaire, whom I believe they're a couple, but whatever, that's irrelevant. Her coloring on this book, her coloring on every book, is some of the best coloring you will ever see in a comic. And the fact that they made Moon Knight monochromatic, like, she doesn't color Moon Knight. It's just all white with the blacks from the inks. And that is a brilliant idea because it emphasizes how he stands out. And of course, from the writing from Ellis, he points that out. Like, people, like, one of the first things it says, like, where's it at? Oh, shit. I got a question. Why would you wear white and a giant cape that looks like a moon if you're fighting crime and hunting faces at night? Easy. He likes people to see him coming. Because he's crazy. Yes, get on this. It's good. Okay, so, top 3 comics. These are the 3 comics that anytime they come out, I get the most bang for my buck, and I love them, and yes, read them. Number 3, Lazarus by Greg Rucka and Michael Lark and Santiago Arcas. This is the most recent issue in the current story arc called Lift. This is issue 6. There was a little bit of a hiccup in the deadlines and stuff like that. I think Michael Lark was saying how, like, everything got messed up during Christmas time. I mean, fair enough. And oh my god, this is just a brilliant book. It's Game of Thrones with guns and eugenics and, economic oligarchy, and it's brilliant. As a poli-sci major, I eat this shit for breakfast. I love it. I'm a very political man myself, extremely left, socialist person, but let's not get into that. So I just love this shit, and even if you're not, like, a big political junkie like myself, you could at least take solace in the fact that it is just a badass story, and it is just amazing, and the world is just fully fleshed out. Like, up until now, it's still very much just world building for 6 issues, but it's just such good world building that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't feel heavy-handed or anything like that, because it's just so damn good. And, sometimes you can just roll your eyes like, we get it, we understand the world. No, there's still more that I want to learn about this world, and more that I want to learn about the other families and the other Lazaruses and all that stuff. So the elevator pitch, yeah, it's like Game of Thrones, but with guns and eugenics. And basically, the world is divided between factions, kind of like the Mafia, maybe, sort of, but it's all corporate interest groups, and we follow the Lazarus, of the Forever family. In the Forever family, it's or the Carlisle family. Sorry, the Carlisle family is headed by shit. I forget his name. Oh well, whatever. The Carlisle family, they were banker. Like the head of the family was a banker, and then he made some philosophical writings that caught wind, and he basically turned the world into an oligarchy. And he is like the head of the most powerful family. And each family has a Lazarus, and the Lazarus for the Carlisle family is Forever, the genetically made daughter of the head of the Carlisle family. And basically, each Lazarus is more or less like the knight of the family, the protector of the family, the head military operations advisor of the family. And Forever, the struggle of seeing her try to, gain love and affection from her family, because her family looks at her as just basically a tool, an object, because she was just made to serve the family. She's not really blood relation. She's just a genetic creation. And her struggling with her human side, with the little humanity that she has, and her struggling with her duties. And it's just brilliant drama built upon fucking incredibly intelligent political writing and incredibly intelligent, speculative fiction. And also the art by Michael Lark is just brilliant and dirty and grungy and just... Santiago Arcaz, the colors are just very bleak and dull and muted, and it just fits the theme and the atmosphere and the feeling of this story perfectly. So Lazarus is a book that is selling well, but should be selling way better than it really is. Highly recommend you read it. Very good. Yes. Number 2 is no surprise. Well, it may be a surprise that the fact that it's at number 2, but it's Saga. BKV Fiona Staples. Who isn't reading Saga? Like, honestly, who isn't reading Saga? I want to meet one person who says, I don't like Saga. I really do, because every person that I recommend this book to, even people who do not read comics, they read it and they're like, that was amazing. I love it. When does the next volume come out? And honestly, this shit is like crack. It's just brilliant, and it's on point all the time. Admittedly, it was my number 1. The reason why it's at number 2 is because A, the number 1 pick I think is a little bit stronger, and I like it a bit more, and B, this story arc that we had in 2013 coming into 2014, it just wrapped up with issue 18 here, and it will be coming back in May, I believe. It was a little bit slow-paced, but it still wanted me to come back for more. And the thing about Saga is that it's just brilliant sci-fi space opera stuff, and it's weird, and it's fun in its weirdness. It's not like surreal where it's like it hits you over the head. It's just weird in that it feels natural, and it's just awesome. And even the art, like, honestly, I look at Fiona Staples' art style, and I don't want to undermine her talent here, because she's incredibly talented. She pencils, inks, and colors the entire thing herself. And honestly, it's a style that I think if I saw it anywhere else before, I probably wouldn't have cared for it. But it's brilliant. And then after this, I will be willing to read anything she draws afterwards, because she's just that talented. And yeah, she's Canadian. Fucking right. Fucking A right. Man, just Saga is just so brilliant, and I love it, and everyone else loves it. So chances are you're already reading it, and chances are I'm preaching to the choir. So there you go. And now my number 1 pick, which I said in my last video, and I said I talked about a lot, but admittedly I don't think I released any videos discussing it. And that is the spy thriller Zero by Alesh Kott. This is the first issue here. This is my signed copy, signed by Michael Walsh, and I also have the first trade paperback, again, signed by Michael Walsh, who drew issue 1. Zero is a speculative fiction spy thriller about a British secret agent named Edward Zero. And he works for the agency. And they put him into tight spots. He's highly expendable. And all that stuff. All those spy tropes. But what makes this work is that it does not glamorize anything that he does. Espionage is dirty, dirty business. And warfare is dirty, dirty business. And what makes this so good is that you see the threads being pulled in each issue. Each issue is more or less a one and done, with some threads from other issues being pulled into play. But for the most part, you can read each issue on its own. I would argue that issue 5, not so much, but whatever. But what makes Zero work so well is that each issue, as I said, is a standalone issue, but it's drawn by a different artist. The first issue is drawn by Michael Walsh, as I said. As you can see right there on the wall, I bought 2 original pieces of art from the first issue, pages 4 and 5, as I showed off in the last video. The second issue is drawn by Trad Moore. The third issue is drawn by Matteo Santaluco. The fourth issue is drawn by Morgan Jeske, or Morgan Jeske. I'm pretty sure it's Jeske. I've heard it pronounced both ways. And the fifth issue is drawn by Will Tempest. And I believe the 6th issue coming out this month is going to be drawn by Vanessa Del Rey. And basically each issue is like a different mission, and it just pulls these threads together, and it's amazing to see what these artists will bring to the table for this story. It's very much, the style of it is very much inspired by Global Frequency by Warren Ellis. I recently finished reading this. Alesh talked about how he was inspired to do the multiple artists thing from Global Frequency, and I always wanted to read it anyway because it's Warren Ellis. Admittedly, where I think to do a juxtaposition of these 2 books here, in both respected pieces of art, where I think Zero is better than Global Frequency didn't have that much of a thread to tie it all together. It was more or less an exploration in science fiction themes. This theme of this rescue agency, the Global Frequency. Of course, each issue as an individual, yeah, it was an awesome story. Yeah, it was. But in the grand scheme of things, it kind of falls apart because nothing ties it together. But still, I highly recommend reading it. But again, off topic. But where Zero succeeds in flying carpets... Fuck, I'm turning into Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys here. Where it succeeds is that you can tell that each issue is heavily plotted, heavily detailed, heavily just thought out, and it's all going to play in a bigger scheme of things. Now, admittedly in the 5th issue, I didn't know what to think about it, because it's such a tonal change for the book. I'm going to spoil it, okay? So if you don't want me to spoil it, put me on mute or fast forward the video. Okay? Okay. Well, at the end of issue 5, we get a flashback to the first part of issue 1, which is a flashback, which is a flash forward into the future in the year 2038. Zero is just sitting on the White Cliffs of Dover, and he's talking to this kid who works for the agency and who's going to kill him. And you look over the sea, and you see these giant, kind of mutant, alien-looking pod things that kind of look like mushrooms or something like that. And he's talking... And for that, you see they go into go into this lab facility where you see these kind of alien-looking things going on. Now, personally, my theory is it's not aliens. My theory is it's biological warfare. But who knows? It's anyone's guess. And admittedly, I first read it and I was like, huh, okay, so we're going this route. And then I thought about it more and more. I thought about it and I thought about it and I processed it, contemplated it, looked upon it, and I just said, I have no idea what the fuck's going to happen in the next issue, in the next couple of issues, and I love that. I love that. It's playing it close to the chest. It's, I just love this series so much. Alesh Kott's writing is just brilliant. The art in each issue is brilliant. Admittedly, I think the weakest art, and I hate saying that because it's still fantastic art, is the 5th issues with Will Tempest. More because it's more subdued and everything like that. And we go from heavily stylized, heavily crazy art to a very subdued and kind of monotone kind of art. And another thing that really ties it together is the design of the book. The colors are done by Jordi Belair. Again, do I need to say why Jordi Belair is fucking brilliant? And the cover designs are done by an actual graphic designer by the name of Tom Muller. Or Muller, I don't know how to pronounce that. He's a Dutch designer. And each cover, it's a drawing by the artist who did that issue, and Mueller just designs it. Like, look at the cover for this. This is the first trade paperback. Look at the design of it all. Like, just look at how eye-catching that is. And the lettering is done by Clayton Cowles. Is it done by Clayton Cowles? Yes, it is. And the lettering is pretty cool too. I mean, it's standard lettering. Jesus Christ, I sound like a nerd. And even then, it has things like, excerpt case files in it and stuff like that. And fucking, in issue 4, it has a link for the torrents for the Death Grips album, Government Plates. Now that's badass, and I love Death Grips. They're one of the most interesting groups coming out now. Honestly, just buy this book and read it. It's getting extremely good sales and buzz and all that stuff, which is fantastic because that means Alesh can keep it going. And oh my god, man, just read this book. It's just fucking brilliant, and I love it, and it's just so good. So that's it, really. Those are my 3 favorite comics. Who knows what my favorite comics will be by the end of the year or in a couple of months' time. Who knows if the next couple issues of Zero still hold my interest. Who knows? I'm pretty sure they're going to, but hey, who knows? That's all for me. Hope to see you later. Read good comics. That's a cough.